Assalamu alaikum. Today I'm here with my next video about children's series, me educating my kids. The next video topic is how to establish a good credit for our children. When our children are a little bit older, they become teenagers, it's very important for us that we teach them financial planning because later on in their life, when they become mature adults, they are going to have problems in their lives. Who doesn't? And they should be able to sort those problems out. And one of those problems could be the financial problem, financial difficulty. And anyone who has struggled financially in the past, they do realize how important it is to be able to manage your finances within your means. And to do so, the first step that we have to take after teaching them the very basics of living within your means is how to establish a good credit score if you are going to live in one of these Western nations. Actually, for right now, this is the case in the whole entire world. If you don't have good credit, basically you are not a very reliable person. But me living in the US more than half of my life, I do know no matter what you want to do in your life, if you have bad credit score or you have no credit or bad credit, people don't respect you, people don't trust you, you don't have um, the freedom to go ahead and do whatever you want to do in your life financially. For example, if you want to buy a house, you need to have good credit. For car loan, you need to get a good credit, and everything is basically loaned here. You always make payments. Nobody pays cash for everything. That's not the culture. Nobody has that much cash at one time in their hand. Their money is tied up or is invested elsewhere, or it's sitting in the form of some assets. You cannot just sell them and buy something new. So people finance everything. And to do so, we have to have good credit. There are 4 or 5 different tips that I can give how to start a good credit for your children. So when your daughter or son is at the age of 16, make sure you open a bank account for them. Make sure that the bank account, your name is on it, and it's a safe account, which means the children should not be allowed to overdraft their account. Oftentimes, I'm a previous banker. I worked at a bank for 10 years, and I remember poor kids, when they went to college, their parents gave them limited budget. Let's say it was $500 for the whole month, and they had to spend that $500 before they ask their parents for more money. Children will use their ATM card or debit card as a credit. And what happens is those transactions don't go through your account the same day. And if you're not writing your spending that you spent, you lose track. And then you go and check the balance at the ATM machine. ATM machine will give you a different balance, but in reality, your available balance has gone down because you just used money at a different ATM machine or store, and you purchase something, but that transaction is still pending, and you don't see that. And kids don't know those things. Lots of adults don't know those things. And then there comes the time that within the first week or 2 weeks, they just finished all their allowance, their money is gone, and now their account is overdrawn. And unfortunately, banking system is so bad. This is why riba and banking system is haram in Islam, because it really ruins people's lives. So poor kids will come to me, they were college students, they will sit there and cry because now their account is overdrawn by $1,000, $500. And I'll explain to you how that happens. So let's say I had $50 in my account, and I went and I used my debit card as a credit transaction to buy, a book from a store. And that book cost me $50. So I know that I have enough money in my account. So I spent that money, I bought the book, but I didn't know how much money I have. I just checked the balance, the transaction went through, and I said, okay, it went through, I'm good to go. Next thing you know, it's Friday night and you want to go out partying with your friend. And kids will usually go and they check their balance at the ATM machine with their ATM card. And the ATM card will show their balance is still $50, where in reality, they have $0 in their account because they purchased a book earlier that morning, which have utilized that $50. They will go ahead and spend more money. Now for every transaction that they make, whether it's for a penny, or it's for $1, or it's for $1,000, every transaction that they make, their account is being overdrawn and it's hitting a negative balance on their account. And for every single transaction, the bank will charge you $35 to $45 in overdraft fee, depending on the bank. And the first part is, let's say I made 3 transactions after I had zero balance in my account. The first one was for $100, second one was, or first one was for 10 cents, the second was for $5, and third one was for $100. Bank will process the $100 transaction first, and then $10 and penny transaction at the end, because they assume that the larger the transaction, more important it is for them. So they will pay for you and they will do a favor, and then as a result, it will overdraft your account. And I know it's very complicated. And then sometimes what happens is poor kids will overdraw their account just by one single penny, and now they're charged with $35 overdraft fee. With the bank that I worked for, that was their standard fee was at the time. And then now kids don't know, or students don't know that their account is overdrawn. Every 3 days, if they don't pay that penny and that $35 back, every 3 days, bank will charge a sustained overdraft fee. And a sustained overdraft fee is because your account was overdrawn for X number of days, which was 3 in that case. So every third day, the bank will charge you an additional $35 overdraft fee. If the bank kept charging you $35 every 3 days, last 2 weeks later, the student realized that his account was, I don't know, $1,000 overdrawn now. They will come to me and they'll cry and they'll say, how did this happen? But I had money. And I will go back and look at their history and I will say, oops, you overdrafted your account by 1 penny. And they'll say, you're going to charge me $1,000 for a penny overdraft? That was very heartbreaking for me as a banker. Then I had to get an approval from my regional manager. We will reimburse them some of the overdraft fees, and then they'll have to pay some. And then the parents used to get really mad. So heads up to the parents who have young kids who go to college, you give them allowance, just make sure you understand how the banking system works. So it's important that you open a bank account for your kids where they're not allowed to overdraw their account. So 99.9% of the time, they will not be able to, but it's never perfect. There still is a very small chance that they might overdraw their account, but still it helps a lot. Number one. Number two, put one of your utility bill under your children's name. Of course, you're going to pay the bill because they're still on your payroll. They don't have the money to pay your utility bills. But what happens is you're a responsible adult. So when you're making your payment on that electric bill, or let's say water, sewage, whatever it is, automatically it's reflecting under their name and it's building their credit. When we first came to the US, it's not that we had bad credit, we had no credit. So bank will not lend us any money because we had zero credit. Or let's say we went 6 months later and we have credit, but it's newly established credit. We don't have long enough history of having good credit. So banks are reluctant to lend you any money. So to avoid that, you want to start early, as early as 16, 17 years old. Children should have their own bank account. 1 or 2 utilities should be under their name. And when you make the payment, it reflects on their credit that they make their payments on time. Number 3, you can open a secure credit card. I know Capital One has a secure credit card where you can deposit, I don't know how much the limit is now, but a while ago, their limit was $500. You had to deposit $500 into a bank account, and that account is linked with the credit card. Then Capital One will issue a credit card to your child, and then every month they send you a statement, just like a regular credit card, and then the student will make the payment. And if they don't make the payment, the bank will withdraw that much amount from that $500 account that you opened to get their money, because right now they don't trust them. So they will still charge them the fee, but they will want to take their money right away. So that's another way of building their credit. The third way is, if you have a credit card, which I'm sure most of you do, add your child's name on that line of credit. So what that means is you call your credit card company and you say, can you issue a second credit card under my son or my daughter's name on under my line of credit? and they will issue a same credit card that you have with the same number, just different expiration date and different security code at the back. And instead of having your name on it, it will have your child's name on it. So now they are the co-owner of your credit card, which means when you make the payment on that credit card, ultimately it's showing under their name as well, and their credit is being established. So these are some of the tips and tricks to get your kids ready and prepare for the college, get them ready and prepare for their future life to come ahead of them, and for them to be more successful. One more trick, tip is that when you put your child's name on your credit card, keep the credit card with you. You spend it. So, for example, I opened a credit card for my daughter, and I always say my daughter because she's my oldest child. So obviously, all the experiments are done on your oldest child. I kept her card. I would just pay for the gas every time I pumped gas in my car. I would use that credit card, and I would pay that at the end of the month. I did not give the credit card to her because my credit card has, huge credit limit. And before you know it, your children are just swiping your card, and at the end of the month, you get this huge bill. So you don't want to make that mistake either. So please let me know if this video was helpful. Please give this video a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel if you have not already. Please let me know if you want me to discuss anything else. I would be happy to do that. Again, thank you so much for following me if you do. Until my next video, Allah Hafiz.